How do you hack anxiety and depression as a high-performing CEO? Guys, I'm YoBenLee, 3-time agency owner. I've been building technology products, apps, and games for A-list celebrities and Fortune 100 companies for the last 10 years. Today, I'm gonna be sharing my journey with anxiety and depression and what I did to hack it. So I've struggled with anxiety and depression for years. I love using therapy as a tool. It's one of my favorite tools in my toolkits, but it's a long process. It's something that is not going to happen overnight. It's something you really got to commit to, potentially do 1 or even twice a week, depending on how serious you are to recovery. Now, the other thing is I've also tried pharmaceuticals, and I've always seen adverse effects anytime you introduce something that isn't produced naturally in your body. Now, with pharmaceuticals and prescription medications, it always introduces something new. So right when you tackle, whether it's an anxiety or depression issue, you're playing a game of catch up because you've got something new that you've got to take care of, and it's just not ideal. I felt like it would always create more fatigue for me. It would burn out some of my creativity, give me brain fog, all these things. So that was out of the question. I did not want to go that route. I was also really confused by a lot of the motivational speakers and authors and people on YouTube talking about their experience and journey with ayahuasca. I wasn't sure if it was bullshit. I wasn't sure if it was real. So I decided I want to explore some of these modalities and see maybe if psychedelics were for me. After experimenting with psilocybin, ayahuasca, and ketamine, this is what I learned. My tool of choice is definitely psychedelic-assisted therapy using ketamine. Now, what does that mean? It means that I have a lot of respect for this medicine. It's not something I do recreationally. It's not something that I buy illegally. I generally do this in a guided experience, with a doctor present, even sometimes on Zoom. And it's been such a gentle experience for me to get profound effects where I literally disconnect my subconscious and my ego and bring it problems every time I journey and pretty much solve them in real time. There's been nothing like it. The closest thing I could compare it to is like doing therapy 20x. You're not really dreaming. For me, you kind of feel like you're in outer space, but not in a scary way. I always feel I've got a sleeping mask on, I've got headphones, I've got a gravity blanket. So, I want to create a very comfortable space for myself. And when I go and in the journey, I feel like I'm in this outer space universe, and I've got a sticky board, and I've got issues. I've previously sent an intention before the journey started, and I'm just throwing stuff on a sticky wall and trying to work it out. It could be interpersonal relationships, it could be things in business, it could be family traumas, it could literally be anything. And maybe I'm gonna work it out in that session, maybe I won't. Now, the day of practice or journey, it's really important to just be super gentle to yourself. Trying not to eat or consume too many things, whether it's technology or even like being in a drama environment where your brain is just kind of foggy, or you've got a lot of things on your mind. That's not ideal. I like to start with a meditation practice, usually 15 minutes before. I'm fasting, I'm setting an intention. What do I want to try to go in with this journey with, and what do I want to try to get out of it? And then of course, coming out of it, being gentle is super important. After 60 to 90 minutes is kind of when I'm reintegrating, and I'm trying not to jump back in and use my devices. I'm trying not to solve things or solve conflicts or respond to text or emails, because you can go into like a bit of a sensory overload, not in a dangerous way or anything, but it doesn't always feel good. My recommendation is, and just for the record, guys, I am not a doctor. I am not giving medical advice. You absolutely should not take this advice if it's not for you. And you should always do this in concert with a trained, licensed medical physician if this is something for you. The only reason I'm doing this video is because I want to address all the taboo-ness of psychedelics. I think we are finally at a place in society where we can openly talk about these things and not be judged and not be criticized and not have these things, taunt our brand. This is something that has worked for me, and this is something that I endorse because it's my own personal experience, but it may not work for you. In addition to ketamine, I try to use mostly natural herbal, Ayurvedic supplements. I do use amino acids like CMAX, Selenk, and OXYTOCIN, which are peptides, and I've included the full list below. Remember, when you are introducing something, you possibly create a dependency to that, especially if it's a pharmaceutical, or you could potentially create another issue. While I am not a doctor, do not represent myself on TV or on the tube, I've tried a lot of different things, and this has worked for me. And it's something to remember that every experience is unique to each person. So you shouldn't just listen to me. You shouldn't just listen to some other YouTuber. You shouldn't just listen to your doctor. You've got to experiment and find something that works for you. And most importantly, don't feel shy about talking about these things. We're finally at a place in society, in this world, where these subjects aren't taboo, and we want to empower people to openly talk about these issues, because this is how we solve it together. So appreciate you guys checking out my video today. I hope you subscribe. If you haven't, hit subscribe below, and feel free to share, guys. I check my comments, and I'm happy to reply and engage with you guys.